Hello and welcome to the vlog. A couple of videos ago I mentioned I'm thinking of changing my boat to something with a different type of stern and also a completely different internal layout, and that is still my thought. So I've been looking at a few boats, and in a couple of instances I took the video camera with me as well. I haven't been filming all of them. Honestly, we'd be here all day if we looked at video of every single boat, but I filmed a couple and that's what I'm about to show you. And I am, as I say, still thinking of changing the boat, but the time scale has shifted slightly. I'll come back to that in a minute after we've had a good old nose round a couple of boats for sale. I am out at Lapworth to look at a boat for sale. My own boat is not yet sold, so strictly speaking I'm jumping the gun a bit. But I wanted to get out there, see what's around, see what sort of prices people are asking, what condition boats are in, and there's one moored just over there that's been advertised on the Apollo Duck website, and I've arranged to meet the owner. Here it is, 58 feet long, built in 2008, one owner from new, and a cruiser stern, so lots of social space, including this slot in the deckboards for a table, ideal for the summer evening gin and tonics. I admit I wasn't so impressed with the rust along the waterline. I know that's the main rust spot on narrowboats, but mine doesn't look like that. It's not a good impression when buying. Likewise, water under the stern glan. Why wouldn't you mop it out when someone comes to view? Mostly dry elsewhere in the bilge with a bit of rust, and that is normal. That's the Barrowshire 45 engine, and look at all that neat pipework at the back. We'll see more of that in a minute. The owner told me the 4 leisure batteries are new, which is always good. Inside then, and a U-shaped galley, or N-shaped as you stand in it, just what I wanted. Quite a big galley, all the usual appliances. More neat pipework, which I think is a good sign, perhaps hinting at attention to detail in the electrics too, which are above. The dinette follows, L-shaped, which I didn't think I wanted, but actually it works well when it flows straight into the saloon, as it makes the 2 areas into one large one, rather than with a Pullman dinette, which would be rather more distinct from the living area. Of course, this makes into a spare bed if needed. Heating on the boat is by an Eberspacher heater to radiators, but there's no solid fuel stove, though I reckon there is space to put one up at the end of the saloon, where that bookcase is next to the TV. The bathroom is interesting, a hybrid between walk-through and off-corridor. And the loo is a pump-out, not my favourite, but easy to change to a cassette, given the position it's in the layout. To the bedroom at the bow, and what a great space to wake up in on a sunny morning. Standard bed, 4 feet by 6 feet, lots of storage around, cupboards over, and a wardrobe at the end. The whale deck then, a private balcony to the bedroom if you like, to watch the wildlife. Underneath the whale deck, a sizable but integral water tank rather than a stainless steel one, unfortunately. The peculiar thing about that boat is that despite it being precisely what I was looking for, exactly the right layout, nice big cruiser stern, galley at the back, U-shaped galley as well, nice dinette, nice saloon area, bedroom at the front, it ticked all the boxes, and yet for whatever reason it just didn't shout out to me, I'm the boat for you. Sometimes it's just like that. So I carried on looking, and the next boat I went to see met absolutely none of my criteria whatsoever, but for reasons that will become apparent, I went to have a look anyway. Jessop is a 54-foot boat, a coalcraft shell fitted by Barry Hawkins, who's quite well known, I believe. It dates from 1999, and there's something special about it, which I'll get to in a minute. It's an interesting mix of traditional and modern, this boat. For example, a trad stern, which I said I didn't want, and traditional pigeon box on the engine room roof. But next to that, 2 small flat solar panels, and inside all LED lighting. But let's do a full tour, starting at the bow. It's pretty enough, and behind it a well deck with split windowed cratch cover, providing a sunny, conservatory-like space to sit and enjoy the canal. There's a 450-litre stainless steel water tank under there too. The fit out is probably a bit Marmite. You'll either love it or hate it with this dark cherry panelling, but I love it. It's a compact space, but there's plenty of storage for books or model narrowboats. The marriage of old and new continues with not only a TV, but even a satellite dish waiting for installation in the cupboard below. Immediately opposite, another useful corner cupboard. Central heating radiators are disguised behind these covers, though there is also a solid fuel stove. No space for a dinette, alas, but this fold-out table suffices when needed. And a final view of the saloon before we head further into the boat. Here's the galley, which is compact, no space for a washing machine, but has cooker, hob, grill, and plenty of storage space. The bathroom follows, a pump-out loo, again easy to change if required, the usual sink and cupboard next to it. A bath is relatively rare on a narrowboat, and it is very tiny, but it has a shower attachment on the taps. And so to bed. A standard inline 4-foot wide bed here with cupboard over the head end, but an unusual ornate decoration above. A wardrobe at the end for clothes and the solar controller, oddly. But here's where things get interesting. Why, that's a very unusual engine room peeking out from the side there. Let's see what's in it. It's this, a classic engine, a Gardner 2LW. I'm not sure when it dates from, mind you. This is a big 2-cylinder beast of a thing, located slightly offset in the engine room so as to give enough space to walk past. Old meets modern-ish, again with this PRM 260, I think, gearbox on it, and modern narrowboat controls like this Morse lever for engine speed and direction. The control panel is hardly out of the arc either, and look, you start it with just a switch, no messing around like on some vintage engines. Speaking of starting, of course, one of the joys of a classic engine is how it sounds from outside. I've always rather fancied having a narrowboat with a vintage engine, even if just for a year or so that I can say I had one. But is that just a silly idea? It's not at all what I'm after, really, in the long term. I've often heard it said that when you go boat buying, you'll have a list of specific requirements you want, and then you'll go and buy something completely different. And it was a bit like that with that last boat. I really liked it. I just stepped aboard and thought, oh, this is nice, but it meets absolutely none of the requirements that I had on my checklist. Now, as it happens, I'm still not going to buy it anyway, but that's the way of boating. You want one thing, you find something else, and when it's the right one, it will just speak to you. Now, before I showed those, I mentioned that my timescale has changed slightly on buying and selling another boat. That's because I want to go out cruising, and if I'm going out cruising, it won't be very convenient to also have the boat up for sale, and when it is for sale, I won't want to be living on it, not while people are coming in and looking round. So if I put it up for sale now and then bought another one, by the time that had all happened, it'd be midsummer, peak season, when I like to moor up anyway because it's too busy on the canals, and then it wouldn't be, well, probably September before I actually went out cruising this year, and that's not right. I did very little cruising last year. I want to get out on the canals this year. I want to do the route that I mapped out in the last vlog. So I am going to head out cruising probably starting mid-April. Touch wood, there's some stuff I'm doing, need to get sorted, but hopefully going out mid-April, and then do a good 3 months till end of June, first week of July, then moor up for the peak summer season, and at that point reconsider whether I want to put the boat up for sale then and find another one just in time for the end of the year. So it's still going to happen, just not immediately. I am going to get out and cruise the cut. Right, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.